Okay, everybody, please be muted. Please mute yourself. Okay, silent meditation. Okay. So I'm Ramaji. This is Ananda Devi, my teaching partner and life partner. And so did you want to start off with the introduction, or do you want me to do it? Okay, well, we're going to assume you know about rasa and all that stuff. So the point of this is we're going to talk, and then some of you will have questions and we'll provide some answers, and then we'll do the rasa. And this is all about the rasa. This is about the spiritual transmission, because words are not that useful, because they tend to just provoke more concepts and concepts about concepts and so on and so forth. So what I would like to do, I'll say something just about what I think is a point worth emphasizing, and then Ananda will have something that she...
I have something.
Well, okay, well, go ahead then.
Have you got something?
I do, but go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just came to me. Things come. That's when I express them. I was thinking about finishing. I was thinking about explaining a little bit more about what Ramaji and I call ourselves the finishers. We say people usually come to Ramaji and I when they are ready to finish, kind of like spiritual assassins. Any last notions, beliefs, concepts you may have, we basically are going to kill those so that if this happens as quickly as possible. Not so much us, the rasa, of course. But, you know, when we have the opportunity to get to know you guys, you know, collectively, individually, obviously that does quicken and make the process go much quicker. So having said that, to finish, and I think the most difficult part about finishing this is acceptance. But then once you've come to recognize that the only way to finish is to accept and allow, and we've been going over that theme with you guys now for weeks, then what is really left? What is to finish, to be done? What does that mean? And then a lot of people jump into, well, that means I'm going to be enlightened. That's going to be next. I'm going to be finished. I'm going to be enlightened, awake. And then they think that along with that awakening, there's that subtle state they're hoping to attain via the awakening that actually stops them from finishing. And that, again, is the final trick that the mind plays. It's the final trick. This cannot be it. I cannot possibly be done. No way, I'm not enlightened. I'm not even close. Oh my God, maybe I'm not even in non-duality. Because that's just a very common thing that happens. Because again, it's the fight against the ordinary state. It's the ordinary has not yet become extraordinary. That will happen post-awakening, and it does on its own. That's the natural unfolding. But until you let go of any notions or preconceived ideas, any concepts about what it means to awaken, because there are no words, it's an indescribable state because you're always in it now. Therefore, that is the final barrier. And an interesting story is I had a student, and he had been he was such a long time seeker and such a brilliant man. And he had lived with a Zen master in Thailand for God knows however many years. He had done this body work, a real master. And finally, at the end of all this stuff, he came to me, and we sat and we spoke for a couple of sessions, and he suddenly had this feeling, and I will never forget his words. He said to me, Ananda, oh my God, it's all bullshit. And my response to him was, and that's the last concept you have to drop. It's all bullshit. Now, that's all I have to say about that. Let's leave it there.
Right. So you get to that place where it's all bullshit. And then you see that is bullshit. And then you're left with nothing. And that nothing is everything. Agnisagadatta Maharaj said, what are you going to end up with? Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
So in a way, enlightenment, so-called enlightenment is the biggest disappointment.
Mm-hmm. Which we've been saying all along.
For the ego or the separate self, for the one who invested all this time, energy, money, emotion into the search.
On the one hand.
Yeah, but it turns out to be the best and actually only way to play this game on this planet. There's no better way. I mean, somebody asked Ramana Maharshi, he said, well, why should I do all of this? And he said, and Ramana Maharshi said, well, because do you want to be happy? Because this is the path to happiness, to be yourself, to realize your true self. He says, so the guy said, well, I don't know, maybe I can find a better way to be happy. And Ramana said, fine, go for it. And if you do find a better way to be happy, let me know. But as far as I know, this is the best way. So bottom line is this is about happiness, well-being, contentment, peace, love. But it's our nature. And being our nature, being ourselves means being, to be, which we're already being. We're already being right now, all of us. In fact, all 7 billion plus people, in fact, all the plants and all the animals too, all just being. But then there's this added thing as human beings we have about becoming. So I'm going to become something. And that's all the mind. The mind is becoming, and becoming has to do with past and future. But if you're ever going to have anything, the only time you're ever going to have it is right now. So there's this fundamentally flawed perspective based on how the mind works, where in order for the mind to deal with anything in the first place, it's got to define it. Define it. Make it definite, which means to make it finite. Because the mind's just not happy or comfortable with something that's infinite. Because the mind is limited. So it has to make it small, then it can control it, manage it, manipulate it, etc. But by then you're far, far away from the now. So what is, so the now is here and the now is always here. And the now is the only time you can have anything. So it's all about being and recognizing that becoming is a natural event. It's a natural happening. Things unfold. But there is no other place to be than here, right now. This is it. This, no matter what it is, no matter what it looks like, no matter whether it's positive or negative or neutral. And I was just telling somebody the other day, who was holding on to experiences, and I said to him, hey, why don't you just, every now and then, like one day a week or whatever, just during the day, just go, okay, positive, negative, or neutral. And you'll find that all experiences fit in those categories. They're either positive, negative, or neutral. And then I said, also notice that they're all just happening. They're all just cycling through and nothing stays, nothing lasts, nothing. So it's a universal, impersonal process. It's universal, happening to everybody. It's impersonal, meaning it's not personal. We're not a victim. And it's a process, meaning it's always happening. It's always changing. Positive, negative, and neutral, just rotating. And then a universal, impersonal process. And then see what you end up with when you just notice all these things. Because, what we are, if we were, we are the space, you are the space, you are the place in which all of this is happening. So you don't have to go anywhere. So that a very valuable step is to be that which is arising. Move towards it, move into it, become it, go to its center, go to the heart of what is arising. The tendency of the mind, the habit that we have, and we employ it when we get into meditation and spiritual techniques, the habit is to find a safe distance from the arising. But when you do that, when you step away from the object that's arising, the emotion or the thought or the body sensation, which is painful or pleasurable or neutral. When you do that, guess what? You lose touch with it. You lose contact. You lose intimacy. So the depth of the experience, the intimacy with the experience becomes greatly diminished, which means the intensity of it and the satisfaction that's possible, the richness that's possible, is also lost by virtue of this distancing, because we're afraid of pain. We're afraid it's going to be painful. So it's very fundamental. It's very basic. We're tending to do this all the time with each experience. Avoid, 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 reject, 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 back away, find distance, get safe, instead of moving towards it. And then we find out that the tiger, the big shadows on the wall, is just a paper tiger once we move into it. And it's ours anyway. So you move into it each moment, move into it. Then there's intimacy. And then in that intimacy, there's an opening and the richness of this experience, whatever it may be. There are books, autobiographies by people, like were in concentration camps, or people who had cancer, they're going to die, and all these things. And there are, you can go find them. There are books that people say it was the most amazing and best thing that ever could have happened to them. Now, how is that possible? It's possible because they did what we're talking about. So it's not the event or the content, it's what we bring to it. It's our attitude, it's our willing to be receptive, available, grateful, to embrace what is arising in the place that it is arising.
The most precious knowledge is self-knowledge. That is the most precious knowledge, not only for you, for the seeker, but when you don't see the self, or when you don't really, when you miss a person's significance, then you cannot see that the godliness in them, the person in front of you. So when you know yourself, you automatically know other. And that's when you start to, the things you focus on another person, when you're focusing on their positives, on the light in them, on what they really are, their potential, that's when you're able to be present and help them. So, because you're not in your mind judging, you have a knowingness of what's in front of you, who you are and what they are. And that's the beauty when you awaken. That's what goes on. That's the unfolding.
I just had a thought about, we use this word sahaja a lot. We're just kind of jumping around here because I guess, we both have a lot to say. And not that I had anything to say until I got onto this call.
Me neither.
I didn't have a damn thing to say, to be honest. But it just occurred to me, we use this word sahaja, and this word came for us from Ramana Maharshi, which means natural state, which means effortless state. So I thought I'd break it down in a certain way for you. Okay, so sahaja. Okay, so the sa refers to truth. Okay, that's the open crown that we're working with in rasa. And then ha is like, oh my God, I get it. I got it. Ha, 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 ha. Ha.
Saha.
Saha. Sa, truth. Ha, got it. Whoa, it's here now. I am that. But we're not done yet. Saha. Yeah, it does mean, okay, groovy. I'm cool with what is. Saha. Yeah, you probably heard that. But sahaja. What's the ja? Ja. Ga. What's that? That's participation in life. That you naturally move out because of what? Love. By, as Ananda was saying, you love yourself, you know yourself, you love and know the other. Why? Because you are them. And we have this wonderful dance that we're doing where, you are my very self, and I don't know what the heck you're going to do next. I don't know what the heck you're going to say next. Nothing. It's the most amazing thing. It's the most amazing entertainment that there is.
It really is. It's a movie. It's each of us are literally a universe creating our own movie. And it's spectacular. And, it's beautiful to be, just to be. There's nothing to find. It's okay to be. The beingness. It's all in the beingness.
And people think it's all about sa, all about this purity thing. And then, of course, they get, well, maybe there's a ha, which, of course, is wow. The great relief of finally you get it and you drop the separate self and the I thought, and then, whoa, we're good now. Don't really have a problem anymore. But in the East, they seem to have forgot the ja part, which you could say is related to like generate, to create. And the sahaja point, the point of sahaja is it happens naturally. It happens naturally to reach out. It happens naturally to care, to be compassionate, to want to make a difference in the world. Sahaja. Okay, so not just saha for me, but sahaja for everybody, for the community, for the tribe, for the planet. Okay, that's what sahaja means. It means you're happy being in the world. The world works for you. Why? Because it's yourself. It's your playground. It's your party. It's your home while you're here. And you make the best of it. Home sweet home. So it kind of ends up there is no enlightenment. That is to say, you go beyond it. Because, non-duality is a solution for duality. But, so duality is a sickness and you take the medicine called non-duality. Well, after you took the medicine, you throw away both, you don't hold on to the bottle, you throw it out. You're not sick anymore. So duality's gone. Non-duality's gone too. It was just a tool. It was just medicine. And now what? What's left? Sit on your butt in the middle of nowhere and, sit in your own bliss. Well, some do, and that's okay. That's cool. But what's left? What's left from our point of view is live. Now you're finally free to live. And we might as well start living now because that's where we're going to end up is living.
Now.
Yeah. and one of the biggest benefits of awakening is fearlessness. There are these really cool things that happen in awakening and enlightenment and going to 1,000, what we call LSC 1000 or classical self-realization. Really cool things that amaze me. They don't get talked about in the scriptures and the classical stuff from India and Tibet and whatnot. They kind of talk about it, but for us Westerners, they're big deals. One of them is fearlessness. I mean, we're both ridiculously fearless. I mean, it's amazing. We're just so fearless. It's just natural. We're not trying to be that way. It's a byproduct of awakening. Another thing is friendliness. You know what? We can't help it. I mean, I used to be the person sitting at a bus stop who was like, oh God, there's other people in here. Oh my God, waiting for the bus. And now I'd be like, hi, how are you? I'm so-and-so. Yeah, are you having a great day yet? Wow. I mean, who is that person? Where did he come from? But you can't help it. Your heart just opens up. You become warm. You become affectionate for complete strangers. Why? Because they're yourself.
You've forgotten the little I. You're just being yourself. So when that happens, you just embrace life, however it presents itself, and you really feel the need to share.
One big, beautiful life.
And to help. Sometimes the love is tough. Ramaji and I have been called many names, but who cares? At the end of the day, if you finish, you finish. And that's what we're here to do.
Yeah, we're just here to do our job.
You know, and that's our job. And there is nothing finer when somebody says, I am done. I am finished seeking. I am myself. That's it. I mean, that's the glory. You know, even if one person, that happens for one person, that's a whole universe.
One big, beautiful, happy I. At the same time, though, we don't subscribe to this notion that, you know, it's just a fiction, the self. Mm-hmm. Okay, we consider there to be an essence, a true essence. You could call it the soul if you like. But after this life, I mean, even now, we have individuality. I call it transcendental individuality. I don't know if Ananda subscribes to that.
Yeah, totally.
Do you subscribe to that term?
I love my individuality.
Okay, so we have transcendental individuality, which means we're going to keep on trucking, baby.
Oh, yes.
You know, after we drop this particular, you know, biological, you know, machine, I mean, you know, now we're going to keep moving on. Okay, you know, be a quote unquote co-worker with God or whatever. You know, but that's it.
Co-create.
The party continues. The co-creation goes on. You know, you don't lose anything. All you're doing is dropping a false identification in order to be your real self. And your real self is capable of experiencing itself as a universal I and as a unique, one-of-a-kind I that has never happened to anyone else. We get both. We get to have our cake and eat it too.
You know, I want to say one more thing, and then maybe we'll open it up, right?
Cool.
So again, it boils down to that big word that everyone tries to drop because they think it's such an evil word. And Ramaji did touch on this, desire.
Oh, yeah, desire. Wow.
You know, now, desire is the most fundamentally important feeling, understanding that you can ever have. Now, why do most people want to awaken? They desire to awaken, but then why? Because there's a feeling of lack. Something's lacking in their lives, in their normal day-to-day lives, that they feel an awakening will solve. Right? Can you get rid of desire ever? Of course not. Now, but where's the feeling? Where's the desire coming from? From lack. Now, when you're coming from a state of lack, and your focus is on that state of lack to be saved, guess what? It's a lot harder to get rid of it. You know, because your focus is, because remember, what is divine intelligence? It is knowledge itself. It's always knows more than we think we do. So it's running the show even though we think we do. So the little I is the feeling of lack. The little I that's feeling, I'm not enough. This is not enough. These are my sorry little problems. But when that goes away, then you recognize that what you've always been has always been there right in front of you. You are it. You can't help but even be it. And when you can actually own it, then you're becoming a fearless force. And I always say it's not an egotistical force. It's a force of knowingness of your own self. Your power is part of the whole. But as long as there's this little I with this feeling of lack that wants to awaken into some weird state because this state isn't enough, you're going to miss. So what do Ramaji and I do? We have you sitting in front of us with all your issues. We're here for you. We love you. We know what you are already. You know, we know how stubborn you are, how defiant you are, how miserable you may are, how many diseases you may think you have. We get it. We've walked the path. But guess what? We are going to crack it every time. We are going to see how it just doesn't work for you anymore to come from that place. Come from an empowered place. Use your desire wisely. And that's the only choice we have here in this whole world. Is the cup half full? Is it half empty? If it's half full, which it is, move from there. Move from that space.
People think the Buddha said desire is bad. You know, don't have desire. Okay, that's not what he said. Okay, some people got it wrong and kept repeating it. What he said is, you know, like Ananda is saying, same thing, just different words. He said the problem is grasping, craving, thirst for something you believe you don't have. Not desire. But the desire that arises due to the mind polluting that desire, the natural desire, like, you know, to eat something, we need to eat, well, it arises. But it's when, you know, it's when you get obsessed with, oh, I don't have this and I don't have that, and, you know, then that's the grasping, that's the craving, and that's the issue. So in the spiritual seeking path, you see, what we're really working with is, what is this seeking in the first place? Who is the seeker? What is this seeking? What is motivating it? What's motivating it is you think you don't have it. You think there's something wrong right now. You think there's something wrong with this, with the way it is now. And there isn't. The only thing that's wrong with it is that you're convinced there's something wrong with it. That's the only thing that's wrong. If you take this all the way, it's not a trick. If you take this all the way, and for 5 minutes or 1 minute, fully approve of every single thing, you will be released from them. You will be automatically released, because the only reason you have a problem with them is you're reaching out and grabbing this stuff by the neck and choking it and going, you bastard, you're wrong. If you don't do that, you go, I fully approve of you. Whoop, next, I fully approve of you. Whoop, next, whatever the thought, emotion, sensation, or other thing is, I fully approve of you. Next. So who's doing what here? So the search to go out there and, you know, find this, find that, go to India, go to the guru, do this, you know, blah, 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 blah. Whatever it is right now, that's it. That's your guru. This is your guru, this moment, this thought, this emotion, this body sensation, this situation, that person you can't stand, the IRS, whatever the hell it may be. Okay, that's your guru. Fully approve of your guru and you're good, you're free. See? So it's very simple, it's just not easy. But it is simple. Yes, yes. It all depends on what's in the bottle, of course. Somebody mentioned that the bottle is a guru. Well, it depends on what's in the bottle. It's
not vodka this morning.
It's not vodka this morning.
It's just water.
Just water. Okay, anything else? Are we good? Ready for questions? Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, let's open it up for questions and answers.
Great. We have a few questions. So Eric, go ahead. I'll unmute you. You're unmuted. Go ahead. Okay. There you go. Go ahead.
Yeah. First of all, I just want to say thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much.
You're welcome very much.
This Rasa has been amazing for me. I've been just after the first one. Remember I told you last time about I had an awakening experience about a year ago. And then I kind of went out of it. Like, I used to have, I have ADHD. And, but now I feel like totally clear and calm and focused, both like focused and peripheral. And yeah, I guess what I wanted to ask is for some advice to maybe keep myself stable in it.
Get Rasa, my friend.
Yeah, I sent you an email and about that, and also I also have a question about because when I first had my experience, like about a year ago, I had these Kundalini things happen, like in my spine, and I was like shaking, and it kind of stopped. But now, the day after the first Rasa, I had this like, but it was actually too intense. I don't know, but something came down, like this lights, and went into my head and went down and then up again, and I kind of dissolved into this white lights, and I got a little bit, something happened. I kind of went back, but this intense sound came, like this vibe, like my eardrums almost, I think they were gonna like burst. It hurt for 2 days after. And this is happening when at nighttime. It's happened about 3 or 4 times. And I don't know, actually, I can't really let go like completely.
Okay, how about you? I think the best idea in your case would be to set up a session and go over that stuff with either Ramaji or I, or one of our other rasa givers anywhere. You know, they'll be able to help you with this. Okay, just continue to get the rasa. The rasa is not causing any health concerns, that I promise. Okay.
I mean, basically, you signed up for this. I mean, I'm sure what you're saying right now, there's a lot of people on this call that'd be very happy to be having the experience you're having. Mm-hmm. So, you know, awakening requires courage. Okay. So, you know, you decide to get on board and, you know, you're actually having a good trip. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I mean, but these are all experiences.
They're experiences, and then your mind is trying to make sense of them. So what I would recommend is just dive into the experience, have it, surrender. Don't think about, is it right, is it wrong, should I be having it, is this right, how can I let go forever? If I can't let go forever, will I be able to let go forever? That's just the story. Let it go. Just surrender that. Just be in the experience, go with it, go with it, go with it, get your rasa. It will unfold for you as it will.
Yeah, let's just clear out. Yeah, don't
story. Forget the story.
Yeah,
because I like what you were saying just now before you opened for questions. It was exactly my experience right now, and also in the mornings it's a little bit unstable, so I have to take my time before I get out and go out and stuff, because I kind of like have ideas about what it would be like to be enlightened and stuff like that.
Exactly.
But when I can just let go of that, it just comes naturally. And the rest of the day is just you know.
That's exactly correct. It's the best thing you can do. The mind wants to control it. You have to let go of the mind as well. Let go of knowing. Let go of even knowing anything. You know, pride and don't know mind. And continue to get rasa. You know, I mean, it's natural for you to be experiencing instability because you're not done yet. Getting done is a real thing. You get done, and then it's interesting. It's like nothing is happening.
Right, and also there's no one getting done.
And
so we know
it's all over, game over.
That's what we mean by finishing.
Even if you have experiences, it's still game over. You know, it's before you finish, you take these experiences to be a lot more important than they actually are. Now, that doesn't mean you should try to suppress them or not have them. I mean, your approach sounds very good. You know, that you're able to let it go and then actually let things happen. You know, people do get afraid. It's true. People do get afraid of Kundalini, and you know, this is a note to everybody who's having any kind of Kundalini symptoms, not necessarily from rasa. It could definitely be, you know, from other means, or just something that happens spontaneously. Our advice to you is do not resist it. Yeah, because the first time this happened, it was like it came from above. Like something outside me, it felt like, and now it feels like it's also coming from above. Like, and I knew nothing about this kind of stuff before that happened, and I started like developing an interest in Kali just from nowhere. So I feel like this is just my destiny that I met you guys, and I'm so grateful. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, you know, feel free to talk to her or pray to her, you know, for help.
Yeah.
Have that connection. I was thinking of telling you that, but I wasn't sure it was appropriate, but now I can say it's appropriate.
I do that. I actually got this altar now, and I do that.
Beautiful. You're being taken care of. You're in great shape. You're in good shape. Yeah, but please, you're welcome. Please continue to get rasa. That's actually the best thing to do. You know,
she wants to ask a question as well.
Oh, okay. Mari,
if that's all right.
Mari. Sure. Hi, Mari.
Hi.
Been a while. Hi.
Yeah, good to see you. Yeah, so I had a sort of insight because of what happened to him. Just watching his experience from the sideline, and sort of having this insight that he was totally without any sort of beliefs about this stuff. So he was like, you know, when you said, this is instantaneous, this can happen now, you know, then he really believed you. I could feel him next to, you know, I could feel him next to me going like,
he gave it a permission slip as a
yeah. And I could really feel that he took it all the way in. And I could really feel that I didn't. Because like, I've been on this bus for so long, I have all these beliefs, you know, like it has to take so long and it has to be this arduous process and blah, blah, blah. So, and I can really see that in myself. So what do you have to say to people like me who just don't want to believe that it can be so instantaneous?
Best question, Maury, is that question. Exactly, that's your beliefs. Those are belief systems that you have regarding awakening.
Bring them up and burn
I know.
Look, just seeing them. Seeing in that way,
that's
seeing
what you
that
got to
that's
do.
the limitation is getting rid of them.
To see that interferes. Those beliefs are only beliefs, but they still have the power to interfere with.
Yeah.
The rasa will still work. It'll still keep cleaning you up and clearing you out. But it really helps. You know, people are always asking, well, what can I do to help the rasa? Well, this is probably the single best thing you can do, is be aware of any limiting beliefs you have about how long this takes or blah, blah, blah. You know, for some people, it's skepticism. You know, they just can't wrap their head around the possibility. Other people are actually afraid of it, you know, and other people are just like, well, what's going to happen in my life if I actually really embrace this and it happens to me? So, I mean, and that's a legitimate question. What if it really happens? Because that's what we're about. We're here to make it happen. We're not here to talk about it. We're not here to show you pictures or tell you stories. We're here to make it happen because the rasa will do that. It's not our personal power.
And it's belief systems that are even deeper than that, Marie. It's almost like, well, if it happened to somebody like Bhagavan and Israel Gada Maharaj, how could it possibly happen to me? I'm just me. And again, it's selling yourselves, the self that you are short. It's the unworthy little I that's been conditioned to believe, I can't possibly awaken. I can't possibly get this. I don't deserve this. I'm not like Bhagavan. I don't feel that bliss. You see, it's the stories we've bought into. So what the rasa is actually bringing this up for you. It's showing you the negative beliefs. It's part of the process to see, oh, guess what? I'm limiting myself with the false. The false are those beliefs. That's what the rasa does. Yes, I can have a sudden, your friend there had a sudden experience, Eric.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Timmy boy, come on, calm
Hallelujah.
down. Calm down, Timmy boy.
The table is talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is Tim being rude?
No, it's okay. Tim's being Tim. He's cry out for attention. Oh gosh, I wanted to say something. What was it? No, I lost it. Oh well.
About the beliefs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I had an analogy. The rasa's knocking on the door. FedEx guy's knocking on the door with the delivery. Okay, you still have to open the door. Doesn't mean it isn't there. Doesn't mean that, I mean, it's there. The delivery's there. You still have to open the door. So clearing out these beliefs is the main thing you can do to open the door.
Yeah.
So it takes both of us. You know, it takes, we're working together. We're all a team. So human beings help human beings with awakening, just as they do with everything else. You know, the food that's in your house came from somebody else. So, I mean, it's just like that. That's how it is. So if you want to open the door, and the best way to do it is to clear out these, just, you know, be on the lookout for them. They could be very subtle and they just pop up like, oh, you know, and you want to be on the alert for them. You know, we've both done a lot of work. We both did a lot of work before our awakening with clearing out limiting beliefs. And after our awakening too, we continue to work with that. That is, you know, that is the main weapon of the mind to prevent you going beyond and getting free of the mind. You know.
Yeah.
Okay. So awesome. Thank you. Great questions. Great points. So what else? Who else do we have here?
By the way, my friend just arrived. I asked if I could bring her. Just wanted you to say hello. Her name's
Hello.
Hi,
What's your name?
I'm Christine.
Christine.
I'm Christine. Yeah.
Hi, Christine.
Thank you for letting me join.
All right, you're here on time for Rasa. Good for you. It'll be happening eventually.
I asked. I think it was okay with you guys, right?
Oh yeah, sure.
Thanks.
Mm.
Thank you.
The more the merrier.
Yeah, more the merrier. Like to get the whole planet involved if possible.
If you're over 30.
Yeah. Okay. Next question.
So Edward had his hand raised for a while. I'm going to unmute you, Edward. Go ahead.
Morning, guys. How you
Good
doing?
morning. Good morning.
Just wanted to let you know how much your service. I also wanted to touch base. This is like probably my second series, and I've had a series of 3 dreams where I was being chased and felt like I was being murdered, and I took this as a really good sign that my ego is just on the run, and totally in dreams I was totally petrified. So I'm interpreting this as that the ego is feel like it's on the run. And so I guess my question is just what is your feedback about that, and how do I deal with that fear of the ego being annihilated?
Oh my gosh, aren't you excited about that? Isn't
Yeah.
that the point?
There's no point. Nothing to
Why
deal with.
else are you
Dude.
getting Rasa, and why else are you on the call?
Jump into it.
Exactly.
The fear is a fire. Jump in there and get burned up into nothing. The fear is the gift. Yeah, of course it's going to be afraid, because the ego, I thought, is afraid of dying. So that you're absolutely right, and it often does appear in dreams. And your interpretation is correct. The one that's getting murdered is the false self. It's the limited ego, I thought. So yeah, you don't want to get rid of the fear. You hope that it increases. You hope it's fear of death, but who's going to die? The false self is going to die, not the true I, because the true I doesn't die, and furthermore, it's been here the whole time. So only the false can die. Only the false can fall away. So yeah, you don't want to deal with. I mean, we understand your question, and we of course get why you ask, but yeah, you really just want to take the ride. Do your best to let this. You're fortunate that this is happening. There's nothing you need to do other than what you've been doing. Yeah, keep getting Rasa, and keep paying attention like you're doing.
I do have another question, whether I might benefit from an individual session with you guys, because I have this really chronic tension and blockage in the back of my neck that's been going on for years. I've been a regular meditator for many years, and the Kundalini is trying to get through this blockage, but it's just, it's just not, it's not through. It's not done.
Well, I guess the short answer is yes. If you want something specifically to do with Kundalini, and maybe like somebody who can look and see where the block is and what it looks like and where the Kundalini is, etc., I can do that. So, so it's up to you. I mean, it might work itself out too, So, I mean,
I'm sorry, I missed that.
It might work. In other words, you just continue with what you're doing, and it might work. The Kundalini will eventually work through that. Basically the way the Kundalini works is, based on reports from people, actual observations, it's not theories, is that the Kundalini basically is just drilling through the block. But it's not smart enough to figure out other ways to deal with it. It's just sort of very like a blind force. It just keeps pushing and pounding away. And actually, if you can go, I have a book called Heal Your Mind, Heal Your Body, Free Your Mind, and in it is a technique called the mind laser technique. So you could just see if you can detect the energy object that's at the back of your neck or wherever it is, and you may be able to dissolve it and get rid of it on your own. So why not? I mean, I think the book's $10, and if you're a good meditator, you should be able to do the technique and apply it to yourself as well as any other kind of pain or discomfort that you have. So actually, that's what feels right, is to recommend that to you first. And then, you know, if that doesn't resolve it or you don't feel you can resolve it on your own, then I say contact me only because, as far as I know, I'm the person most qualified to deal with Kundalini issues. But, you know, that's why I mentioned me rather than Ananda, because she's just as good at all this as I am. So yeah, you just go on Amazon.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, look up Ramaji. You'll find that book. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's an ancient technique that almost nobody knows about for self-healing. It's based on meditation, but it's healed all kinds of things. Can't even get into it, but it's a self-healing thing.
My internet was waiting.
Yeah, we're good. But I think you heard everything.
Edward, I'll chat you the name of it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And
okay. Next question.
Kritz, do you still have your question? See, I'm probably not saying that correct. I apologize if I'm not. Let's, okay, you're unmuted. Go ahead.
Okay. It's Fritze, but it's a nickname. It's not my real name. Hello, everybody. I'm interested in if the awakening / enlightenment, which is given through Rasa and especially through goddess Kali Ma, is the same as awakening or enlightenment that would be given through other gods or goddesses. Do you have any information about this?
The answer is find out for yourself. You know, we're not, first of all, I mean, listen, I understand it's a sincere question, but we talk about Kali Ma, you know, just like Ramakrishna talked about Kali Ma. You know, it's a personal relationship to the divine, but it's what's called a parabhakti relationship. So what that means is it's not dualistic. So we're describing, with the term Kali Ma, the archetype Kali Ma, we are describing the way in which the grace or spiritual intervention or spiritual activation force is delivered. It's not, the quality of the enlightenment is the same regardless of the means of delivery. Kali Ma is badass, works very fast, is very aggressive, and is not for everybody. But if you want fast results, you want to awaken quickly, then the archetypal frequency in terms of the divine grace coming down to earth for our benefit, that's the fastest and most potent way of that delivery. Okay, so we're talking delivery. And then as far as the other gods and goddesses, frankly, from what I understand, very few of them actually are interested in helping to awaken people. You know,
and it's all a bunch of concepts.
This is all concepts,
You're
my
going
friend.
back into mind concepts.
Yeah,
Please,
it's all
please,
mind.
mind.
This is it now.
You're going to take yourself
It's all
on
here
some
now.
kind of a mind trip.
And not only
the
that,
last
everybody
thing.
here is already enlightened. You're already the self. Self is not something you acquire. Self is what you already are. And what happened when you were young, like around 2 or 3, is you acquired the notion of a false self that you are now on top of the real self that you've always been. So we're not talking about acquiring your real self. We're talking about getting rid of a false identification, a false self. So, you know, that's our point. And you know, it's the thing with Kali Ma, the thing of the devotional nature of what's behind this is due to us being related to Divine Mother. Divine Mother cares about her children. Divine Mother wasn't happy with, you know, us doing things like a lot of other teachers do, where we just sit and talk and hope that the talking will kill the ego.
That's what you're doing.
Well, okay, that's what I'm doing right now. Fine, I'll shut up. But you know, that's not what we're here to do. Okay, so it's just a whole different thing. Okay.
Okay.
Hope that's helpful, Kritz.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thanks for your question. I'm sure it's the kind of questions some other people have had. All right. One more or more, whatever.
We have 3 in line. Dave, Tim, Sandy. So Dave, go ahead. There you go.
Hey guys, seems like this is a theme today with Kundalini stuff. So this can be quick. Basically, the past 7 months I've had a lot of energy stuff coming up, and I'm giving it attention. And it seems like the deeper I go into it, the more layers are revealed. The only issue is living from that space. Kind of necessitates a lot of like random sporadic energy movements throughout the day. Like yesterday I was just feeling a lot of like old shame and old hurt, or that was the label given to it, but it was almost like my face wants to take on shapes like that, and like if I fully give into that and live from that space, it just feels, I don't know, it feels like socially inappropriate at times. I guess my question being, is there a time where all these patterns just eventually get dissolved by the amount of attention you give them, and then not doing that anymore?
I remember you, Dave.
Yeah, from the back of the heart.
Yeah, Dave, what you're doing is brilliant. You're embodying what you're learning. And yes, you will feel, it does feel weird in your body for a while. It's just your nervous system is dealing with it. So yes, you may feel, because you're coming from this authentic self, you're not second guessing, and it feels like I'm like a creature in the world, and everyone else is kind of being one way and I'm just being another way. But that's, again, it's the mind coming back to play, telling you that what I'm doing now is not okay, and what I was doing then, just forget it. Just be. If you feel, just let the energy come. Just let it come.
Yeah, I mean, it's a blessing to have a strong Kundalini awakening, and our general advice is embrace it and center your life around it. Don't resist it. Don't fight it. Don't try to ignore it. Don't try to suppress it. You really, it's a great opportunity. So it would be like getting married. You're married to the Kundalini. She's your girlfriend now. You go live with her. Okay, no, that's it. And don't try to just let that happen. And it'll go over a period of time, months or a few years or something, and then you come out the other side of it, and it's all good. It's all worked out, and all kinds of cool things may end up happening for you, like such as awakening and other stuff too. It's a very primitive force, very primal. You just got to go with it. And, you'll find that generally speaking, you're in public. Yeah, you probably, we're not saying you can't like kind of control how you look or go in the bathroom if you're like maybe you have to like cry your guts out or you have to scream or whatever. Just go in the bathroom, or something, it's okay to behave appropriately in public, but have time. Like I went through a period of time where for 20 minutes a day, I flopped like a fish on my floor. Okay. Crazy stuff. We've both done things with Kundalini, body movements and sounds and being like animals. And this is all normal Kundalini stuff, so just go with it, enjoy the ride, and it'll come to a conclusion, and keep getting rasa, because the rasa helps clear the way for Kundalini. But many people, when they awaken, when they go to 1,000, their Kundalini did go all the way up to the crown, but it just happened in a way that was so natural and normal and uneventful, they didn't even realize it. So the rasa really helps with smoothing out the Kundalini experience.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, okay, well, good. It's good for you to ask about things like that, so that you understand.
I want to just look at Koenig. Where is he?
Perfectly natural and normal. Oh, he's been having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Koenig's on. Yeah, there he is. He's having a good time.
Hey, Koenig. Just wanted to say hi to you.
Yeah, well, hello to you guys. I am having a good time. Yeah. A nice conversation. Actually, I was going to joke about this last thing and say it's called Tourette's when you just act on the Kundalini. All right, I'll stop joking around. I'm enjoying it, man.
Good. Good. We like that. We like that. Okay, who's next?
Tim was next, and then we have Sandy. Go ahead, Tim.
I am here.
Good. So are we.
I like democracy, you know. All right.
Yes, Tim.
A little bit democracy there. Yeah, I listened to you. It's quite good. What you said is correct, truthful, about people believing in the impossibility of it, and we think that the masters should have it better. You know, they deserve better than us. But I think I might be wrong. So there, first stop there. That's very good. That I can wait for time, you know. But you have to understand this side too. This side is blocked. So see it from the perspective of, you know, it's blocked. There's a wall there. But I'm listening to what you're saying.
Well, we didn't say
it's all belief, but I don't see that. I don't see that belief. I only see my torment, despair, you know,
and that is,
that's all, you know. That's all.
Yeah, we're not saying that when the mind there's the density of the mind, the beliefs have accumulated and are stuck. You know, it's like water. You know, water can be, you know, there's water in the atmosphere right now, and none of us are conscious of it. There can be water in the form of a vapor that we can see, steam. There's water in the form of a liquid that we can drink. And you know what? There's water in the form of ice. And that water is frozen and it's hard. And if you hit me over the head with it, it's going to hurt. You know, and you could possibly even make a dagger out of ice and actually put a hole in me, and I'd have to go to the hospital. So you see, it's still water, and it's still thoughts. And so what we're saying in response to you and Marie is, these beliefs are powerful. And you know, everybody's got a little bit different menu in terms of what kind of beliefs they're dealing with. Some of us looks like we have a harder challenge, you know, due to our childhood or whatever. Nonetheless, we have what we have. We got to work through it. You know, we both have worked through a ton of stuff.
That's good. That's good.
We worked through a ton of stuff. And in a certain way, we're still working through it. You know, so it's more just have the attitude of just, you know, chip away at it day by day. Be honest with yourself. Am I working on my limiting beliefs today? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Just do it.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. Just find one, just choose one limiting belief and go, you know, like we talked about last time about writing it down and then burning it on you know, put it in the fireplace or burning it up.
Oh.
Or otherwise you can also do an inquiry. We like the inquiry for this level of the practice from Byron Katie, which is in essence, when you have a thought or belief, you go, is this true? Is this really true? Is this true under all circumstances and all conditions, you see? So I'm a loser, you see. Is this true? Well, it may have been true at times. You were a loser a few times. You know, you went up to a girl at a club and she rejected you. Okay, that made you a loser in that moment. But is it true that you are a loser, that is what you are, that your essence is that you're a loser all the time under all circumstances and conditions? No.
Yeah.
That's the trick of the mind, is it generalizes. It takes a specific experience then generalizes that everything is like that. So I lost out one time with the girl. Now all girls are going to reject me. Now I'm a loser. You see, that's how the mind works. It's very sneaky, very subtle. It just permeates like the air, the atmosphere. And then you go, like you're saying, I'm depressed, I'm dejected. You want to get down to anything specific that you can grab onto and start working with that. You can't work with vague generalities. I can't fight the air, you know, but if I can do something with this, but I can't fight with the air. So you find something concrete and specific and you start working on that. And it's like a trail of breadcrumbs. You just follow the breadcrumbs. You just follow the thread. If you have a passionate desire to wake up, a passionate desire to investigate, if you're really curious about what's going on, you really care about yourself, you will keep investigating and keep digging. So kind of to close what I'm saying here, the Buddha had an analogy. 7 knots on the rope. And he said, how are you gonna deal with these knots on the rope? You know, how are you gonna shake the rope like this, yank it, struggle with it? No, he said, you study each knot. How did that knot get created? You look at it, and then you know what, with the real physical knot, sooner or later you'll see, oh yeah, if I work at that place, it'll gradually loosen up and it'll gradually be gone. And so we created our knots. We have to uncreate them or just create those knots. We have to untie those knots, and we can do it. So that's what working with the limiting beliefs is. The rasa comes along and really facilitates that process. You know, you may or may not need to go through such a process, but some of us obviously do. So
yeah, it's good. It's a good answer. I just think Byron Katie is crazy, you know.
Well, I think I don't personally know Byron Katie, but I can say I like the essence of her approach for this kind of thing, for working with limiting beliefs. Is the very simple question. The essence of what she's talking about is the question: is this true?
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, and if you do just that, I mean, you know, I'm not a Byron Katie facilitator, but in my work with people, I'll just say to them, just ask: is this true? Is this thought true? In other words, you don't have to have no thoughts. The key is don't believe your thoughts. You can have thoughts, just don't believe them. See? And you cannot believe them by going, is this true? Are you true? Are you true? Or, you know, the mind will say, yes, this is true. And then you say to the mind, to the thought, you say, okay, give me evidence, give me proof.
Yeah.
Okay, you say it's true that I'm a loser. Okay, give me all the proof. Show it to me. You know what? When I've done this with the mind, it's never had proof. Not one time. So it's like hypnosis. The mind is spinning a hypnotic spell. It's just telling you, you are this, you are that. And so when you challenge it, it gets very interesting. Once you start challenging it, is this true? Show me the proof. How do you know this? All of a sudden the mind starts to fall apart. It doesn't really work. Okay, so let's go on to another question.
Thanks, the answer. Thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm sure your question represents the mood of some other people. So thank you.
Sandy, go ahead.
Yesterday I had a session with Ananda and with Rasha, and since this time my cat has not left me alone. Have you ever had an experience with animals and getting Rasha? Yes, we have.
Yeah, I mean, animals will often, if they're in the house, they will come and sit with you while you're getting rasa.
Yeah.
And in our opinion, some animals have gone to 1,000 getting rasa.
Okay, because
some cats and dogs, mainly because people have cats and dogs, and basically cats and dogs are smarter than us. They just come and get rasa and go to
so that's what happened to her, probably. Okay. Tell Ananda
the dog we have here is at 1,000.
Oh, really? That's amazing.
He's always sat in for all the rasas. I mean, he's just, and we did his LOC, and he's at 1,000. You know,
it's just amazing for her to be this way. So that's why I asked.
And what was the message you wanted me to give?
Just tell Ananda that I've been sleeping since I had the session. She'll know what I mean. Like 24 hours. I always sleep. So that's it. That's all I wanted to know.
Perfect. Thanks. Yes. Yes, animals are smart. They love rasa. Actually.
Yeah, she does. So we'll see. Thank you.
Andy. Yeah. Okay. Next question. And how are we doing on the time?
Probably this will be the last question.
Okie dokie.
And it's 12:05. We have till 12:30. Elaine, go ahead.
Hi, Ramaji.
Hi, Elaine.
Can you speak a little bit to how sensation changes after we move up in our LOC? It's almost like the sensation I used to experience, I can't really explain it. It's like instead of experiencing it from the personality maybe, it's so much more neutral and not owned by this or not personalized. It's it's almost like I'm experiencing it from a different perspective.
Yeah, well, you know, a person who's in duality, who's a seeker, will project onto us or another awakened person that we're experiencing the same solidity of the body, the same density, the same here-ness, physical, you know, kind of a block, like a wooden block or something that they're experiencing. That is simply not the case. And as you go up, you know, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000, I mean, there is a change in your experience of the body because it's the mind that says, I am this physical body. And when the I thought is eliminated, the identification with this body as the basis of your identity is also eliminated. What's left then is the natural experience of the body as it is. And for me, and as far as I know Ananda, that experience is that the body is simply a wide open space, and the physical body is an energy pattern within that space. And so when I look at my body, although I can look at it physically like it is right now, when I look at the body, say, at the level it's at, it's essentially a pattern, a template of dancing light. And it formed for a period of time, as long as this body exists, and then it will disperse, you know. So it's absolutely wide open. The body is wide open. So what you're experiencing is the fact that there is no actual density here.
Yeah, and then it's curious that I ever thought there was, almost. Like,
well, you needed to have an experience of density for security reasons. You had to feel, oh, I've got a solid foundation.
Yeah.
Because you were in denial of pure presence or pure being a sufficient foundation. So you have to make one up, and that is that the go-to alternative as a foundation is your body for the mind. The mind seeking security because the mind has separated itself from source. Now it seeks a foundation, so it gloms onto the physical body as its identity, as its foundation. And the awakening is to be set free of that false identification with the body. So you see, it's not like saying I am not the body. What it's saying is the body is part of who I am. And
right, but not the, like, there, I guess it must have been a greater part of my imagined identity before.
What, the body?
The body and the sensations I was perceiving, it was much easier to own it as mine, or Elaine's, or...
Yeah. Well, you're in a process, you know, I mean, you're in a process of letting go of your false identifications, which were based to some extent on I am this body. In simple terms, what we're talking about is, instead of like going, I'm this physical, you know, thing, you know, instead it just starts to soften and open, and you start to feel more like energy, and then eventually you start to really feel like space, and then, you know, eventually just start to feel like complete openness.
Right.
So it's a dispersion of that thought density, that focus on I'm the body, I'm the body, I'm the body. I have to hold on to the body, to where it just opens up, but you're still here.
Right. And then I'm still somehow perceiving through this location, mainly, like through this.
Yeah, that's going to happen. You're still going to perceive through this location, but your sense of being, what you are, will feel unbounded. So if you sit here and go, you feel yourself, feel your being, you just feel you have no limits, you have no boundaries. But your functioning is going to be through this particular biological organism. Somebody asked Ramana about ego, and he said, yes, I do have an ego. And they were surprised, and they said, what do you mean you have an ego? He says, if you say Ramana to me, I'll turn my head and say, who's asking? He says, you got to have ego that identifies with the body for the purpose of functioning. But that's not an ego that interferes, in the sense that it's an ego that feels separate, so that it has to claim the body as its foundation. So yeah, we have functional ego that continues, personality ego that continues, but the resistance and the separation, they go away, and now we know our identity is boundless and it's pure being. Okay, and that boundlessness and that pure being feels very open,
Yes.
But it's a gradual process because we're going from being like this, holding on to the body, to being like this.
Right.
And so it's a gradual process of letting go of the old clinging and contraction.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Elaine. Yeah. Okay, so I think we're gonna do the rasa now. So let's have a 2-minute bathroom break. I'm going to do that, and then we'll be back and do the rasa 20 minutes in silence. So back in 2 minutes. Okay, so it's going to give the group rasa now. It's going to be 20 minutes in silence with eyes closed. And if you haven't had your video showing or your picture, please turn it on now. We prefer to be able to see you or a representation of you. It's not absolutely necessary, but we definitely prefer it. Okay, here we go. 20 minutes in silence, eyes closed. Okay, that's the rasa. So if you have time right now, you can go ahead and sit quietly a little bit longer. Otherwise, it's great seeing you all. Thank you, Erland. Thanks for being here. It's because of you we're here, and it's all we say. We love you. Thank you. Awaken now to the awakening that you are, that you have in this moment. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you both. We'll see you next week, everyone.
Yeah, next week.